Clinton's split-second decision that changed his presidency. It lasted only a moment, but it never stopped echoing. One choice, made under pressure, reshaped everything that followed. Power did not disappear. It narrowed. To understand Bill Clinton's presidency, we must look past policy wins and public approval and focus on a single instant when instinct overruled foresight. Because leadership is not only tested by grand strategies, but by how quickly a leader reacts when control feels threatened. Clinton entered the White House with rare political talent. He was adaptable, persuasive, and intensely attuned to public mood. He believed problems could be talked through, reframed, and survived. Compromise was not weakness. It was technique. For much of his presidency, that belief served him well. By the late 1990s, Clinton stood politically strong. The economy was booming. Re-election was secured. His command of policy detail impressed allies and frustrated opponents. To many, he appeared untouchable. But power has a way of exposing vulnerability when confidence grows too comfortable. The moment that changed everything did not arrive with warning. It arrived suddenly. A question, an accusation, a narrowing window to respond. Clinton understood instantly what was at stake. Not just reputation, but authority. The presidency depends on credibility, and credibility can fracture in seconds. In that instant, Clinton made a decision rooted in survival rather than strategy. He chose denial, not after careful calculation, not after consultation, but reflexively. A split-second response meant to buy time, to regain footing, to maintain control. He did not yet see how irreversible that choice was, because denial, once spoken, demands reinforcement. It shifts the conflict from behavior to truth itself. The presidency becomes less about governing and more about defending a version of reality. Clinton understood this instinctively, but only after the words were already out. This was the beginning of his defining conflict, not between parties, not between branches of government, but between transparency and control, between the presidency as an institution and the presidency as a shield. The decision lasted seconds. Its consequences lasted years. And from that moment on, Clinton's presidency would never fully escape the gravity of what he chose to say and what he chose not to. Once the words were spoken, momentum replaced choice. The presidency entered a narrowing corridor. What began as a personal matter quickly transformed into an institutional crisis. Investigations expanded. Questions multiplied. Clinton found himself responding not to policy challenges, but to credibility tests that refused to end. Every denial invited scrutiny. Every clarification invited contradiction. The White House shifted into defense mode. Lawyers became central. Language became precise, technical, legal. Clinton believed precision could protect him. That truth could be segmented. That intent mattered more than interpretation. But public trust does not operate on legal definitions. It operates on perception. Inside the presidency, the cost mounted. Time once spent governing was consumed by strategy meetings about survival. Allies hesitated. Opponents accelerated. The office itself began to feel smaller, more reactive, less authoritative. Power remained, but it was conditional. Clinton tried to separate the personal from the political. He argued that performance in office mattered more than private conduct. Economically, the country was thriving. Internationally, stability held. Yet the conflict refused containment. The denial had fused the personal and the institutional into a single question. Could the president be trusted? As evidence emerged, pressure intensified. Clinton adjusted language, defended intent, challenged motives. Each move was tactical. Each narrowed the path back to clarity. The original denial now required explanation. Explanation required reinterpretation. The presidency became trapped inside its own narrative. This was the early conflict crystallizing, not scandal versus success, but truth versus control. Clinton had gambled that control could outlast exposure. He underestimated how corrosive prolonged denial could be to authority itself. The split-second decision had closed off simpler outcomes. What remained was endurance, and the cost of that endurance was growing by the day. The conflict reached its peak when denial met consequence, and endurance became exposure. As proceedings advanced, The presidency lost its ability to contain the narrative. Evidence accumulated. Testimony contradicted earlier statements. What once felt defensible now felt indefensible. Clinton faced a reality he had delayed confronting. The issue was no longer behavior. It was credibility under oath. Public opinion fractured. Some defended performance. Others demanded accountability. Clinton stood between them, aware that survival depended not on persuasion, but on whether institutions would tolerate the damage already done. The presidency had become a test case for separation between personal conduct and public authority. Inside Clinton, the strain intensified. He understood politics. He understood negotiation. But this conflict resisted both. Every option carried cost. Admission risked immediate collapse. Continued denial risked institutional erosion. There was no clean exit left. Impeachment proceedings formalized what had already happened informally. The presidency was on trial. Clinton became both defendant and leader, forced to govern while defending his own legitimacy. The emotional toll was relentless. Focus fractured. Authority thinned. This was the emotional zenith of his story. Not outrage, not humiliation, but recognition. Recognition that the moment of denial had set a path that could not be redirected without damage. That a choice made to preserve power had placed the presidency itself in jeopardy. Clinton endured. He argued. He survived procedurally. But something fundamental had shifted. The office emerged intact, but diminished. The trust that allows leadership to operate freely had been permanently constrained. The split-second decision had done its work. Control had been preserved. Credibility had not, and the presidency would carry that imbalance long after the crisis passed. The resolution arrived without vindication. Clinton remained in office. The economy continued to perform. Laws were enforced. Treaties were signed. On paper, the presidency survived. But survival was not restoration. The damage done by that single moment could not be reversed by endurance alone. Clinton eventually acknowledged wrongdoing, but by then the terms had shifted. Admission no longer clarified. It confirmed delay. The presidency regained legality, but not freedom. Every future action was filtered through memory. Every assertion of authority carried an asterisk. This was the true consequence of the split-second decision, not removal from office, but permanent narrowing. The presidency could function, but it could not fully lead without resistance. Trust, once fractured, demanded constant maintenance. Clinton's story matters because it reveals how quickly power can become conditional, how survival strategies often trade long-term authority for short-term control. The presidency did not collapse under scandal. It adapted, and in adapting it lost space. History judges Clinton in two parts: effective governance, personal failure. But between them sits a deeper lesson. Leadership is not only about what you achieve. It is about how you respond in the first moment when truth becomes inconvenient. That moment defined everything that followed. Some mistakes can be corrected. Others reshape the boundaries of power itself. Clinton crossed that boundary in seconds and spent the rest of his presidency living inside it. Clinton